Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela and we are the Castros.
Good morning sa lahat ng mga ka-brunch. Maulan na umaga.
Maulan na umaga.
Tignan mo.
Huddle weather.
Behind
today.
us is a rainy and cold day. Diba? O, kaya keep safe, everyone. Don't forget your umbrellas, mga kapote nyo. Baka kailangan nyo ng boots kasi kung baha.
Oo.
Ingat-ingat lang. And good morning sa lahat ng viewers natin.
Of
Thank
course.
you for joining us again on a Tuesday. And madami pa tayong pag-uusapan today.
Yes, siksik ang ating umaga ngayon.
Yes, because we're serving you news in a countdown.
All that before your second cup of coffee. This is Brunch.
Starting our countdown with good news for your sports fans out there. Naghahanap ba kayo kung saan manonood ng 2024 Paris Olympics on July 29? Look no further because Signal TV got you. Signal TV announced that it is the official broadcaster of the 2024 Paris Olympics. Signal admitted that it was a struggle to acquire the broadcast rights to the Olympics, but they were determined to get this for the millions of Filipinos supporting our 15 Olympic bets. You can watch the 2024 Paris Olympics from July 29 to August 11 on Signal's paid TV channels, as well as the free-to-air channels like TV5 and RPTV.
Actually, sabi nga ni Jude, no, it was really a quite a challenge to actually put all our resources together and take on the Olympics. You know, the DNA of our group, the MVP group of companies, is really sport. So nasa puso po talaga ng MVP group of companies ang pagdadala ng the biggest sporting events in the world.
Uy, exciting yan
Yeah.
At saka syempre
Congrats.
mapagtutuunan ng pansin yung mga atleta natin, no, kahit papaano.
Congratulations sa lahat ng Signal family for this momentous
Aabangan natin.
deal.
Kakaiba yan, syempre. Para makikita natin ng husto yung mga kandidato natin. Kandidato yung mga lalahok, di ba? 15 athletes yun eh.
Hindi pa counted baka yung gilas, di ba?
Malay
Kung
mo,
mawala
hindi
gilas.
mo pa rin alam yun, di ba? Antabay sila sa mga announcement natin regarding that. But moving forward, meanwhile, SB19 member Stel Ajero will be the opening act for the concert of David Foster. On Monday, MQ Live announced that Stel is the latest addition to Hitman David Foster and Friends concert. The Canadian artist will also be joined by Catherine McPhee, Brian McKnight, and All For One, along with special guests JV Decena and Joaquin Garcia. The concert will be held on June 18 at the Smart Araneta Coliseum in Quezon City.
Kaya bili na ng tickets.
Oo.
Padami ng padami ang mga sumasaling artist dyan.
Oo, di ba?
Of course, Brian McKnight.
Favorite natin yan, si
icon,
Brian
legend.
McKnight. Magaling yan
Magaling mag-concert yan.
Mag-concert yan,
Tapos
talagang
si
performance yan.
Catherine McPhee, of course, American Idol runner-up.
Yes,
Oo.
na ngayon ay asawa ni David Foster.
And all for one. Oo, alam mo yung mga songs sila, di ba? Of
Ano
course.
nga yung mga kanta ng All for One?
Ayoko na kumanta, pero alam ko na kung ano yung kanta ng All for One.
Pero and of course, si David Foster,
Of
music
course.
legend
A
yan.
hitman.
And he's always been, kumbaga parang kilala dito talaga sa Philippines dahil lagi siyang nagkakaroon ng mga
Siya
series of concerts
develop
here in
nung
Manila.
una kay Charis Pempenko.
Yes, yung David Foster and Friends.
Yeah, David
ganyan.
Foster and Friends.
Abangan natin yan. May patiket ba? Alright, let's move forward to our next countdown. Diba? Entering the 8th spot is the transport strike. Members of the transport group Manibela continues their strike today as a protest against the crackdown of unconsolidated PUVs. The group of PUV drivers and operators insisted that the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, should allow them to go back to the road. This despite not consolidating with any cooperatives after the April 30 deadline. LTFRB will study a lawmaker's proposal of allowing unconsolidated PUVs on the road for a year. But for its chairman, Chofilo Guadis III, drivers and operators of unconsolidated PUVs should be considered now as koloro.
May suggestion, may usapan na extend kami ng 1 taon At habang pinag-uusapan ito, pabibiyahihin kami habang ginagawa din namin yung prototype ng aming jeepney.
It is up for deliberation tomorrow, but until such time that the final resolution by the board is issued, yun pa rin po ang aming susundin. Kapag hindi ka nakapag-consolidate until April 30, tanggal ng iyong prangkisa at ikaw ay kolorom na.
To get his thoughts about this, we have Alt Mobility PH Director Ira Cruz.
Yes, good morning, Ira. Thanks for joining us again.
Hi, good morning.
Yes.
Kumusta kayo?
Yes, of course. Syempre, your thoughts, diba, about this appeal ng Manibela to allow unconsolidated jeepney drivers na makapasada ulit.
Oo, alam mo, I will open with what's very important and what is often forgotten when we talk about PUV modernization, the welfare of ordinary Filipino commuters. Kapag nagsa-strike o kapag nagkakaroon ng mga policy ang gobyerno, ang madalas naiipit dito yung mga ordinary Filipino commuters.
Right.
That's true.
So I think yun dapat yung pinapangunahan dapat ng LTFRB. Kasi ang nangyayari, whenever they talk about PUVMP, ang una-una nilang, ang isa sa mga una nilang sinasabi ay kung paano nila pupilihin yung mga kolorum. And also in a very recent statement by Secretary Bautista, sinabi din niya na ayon sa LTFRB, sapat ang supply ng public transportation sa kalsada. Na hindi totoo. Kasi nakikita naman natin araw-araw na maraming nakapila. Ito dapat yung mga pinagtutunan nila ng pansin. Kesa yung mga manghuli ng mga strike, ng mga kolorum. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Of course, they have to be registered so that they can be properly regulated. Consolidation is a very important component of the PUV modernization program. But I think the government should put more focus in terms of how to finally and once and for all address the needs of commuters.
But regarding yung you were mentioning kolorum at dapat din manghuli, no? But do you think, kasi medyo may gray area dito, ang daming confusion na nangyayari, do you think that the government or LTFRB should release a new order when it comes to apprehending unconsolidated PUVs?
You hit it on the nail. I hit it on the head. Ang daming confusion when it comes to the policies. Like for instance, nung nagkaroon ng consolidation deadline noong April 30, a question in a lot of people's minds is, ano na yung susunod? Ano na yung next steps? Ano na yung mangyayari sa mga unconsolidated? Ano na yung mangyayari sa mga pasahero na walang masasakyan? So there really is a lot of things that we should expect from the government. Primarily for the government to lay down ano ba yung mga next step, ano yung mga next milestones when it comes to the PUV modernization program or PTMP as they've renamed it recently. Isa din kasi sa mga binibring up ng mga ordinary drivers yung financial support at social support. And that has yet to be addressed by the government as well. So while we agree with the consolidation requirement of PUVMP, we also understand where the GP drivers are coming from when they're raising concerns about financial support and social support. For instance, magkano yung cost ng isang jeepney versus how much yung support na binibigay ng gobyerno. And I think on the average, it's about 3.5 billion pesos versus a government subsidy of only 200 to 300,000 pesos. Right. For those that will be exiting the industry, the government should also have sufficient social support to make sure that no one loses their livelihood. Ito yung mga concerns na lagi namin binibring up sa gobyerno. Number one, dapat walang commuter na mahihirapan sa pagsakay. Number two, dapat walang mawawala ng hanap buhay, whether it's in the industry or outside of the industry. And number three, dapat magkaroon ng maayos na communication in terms of the next steps for the Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program.
On the other side of the fence naman, Ira, sinasabi nila if we continue to adhere or entertain lagi yung mga concerns ng Manibela, yung mga hindi pa nakapag-consolidate, it will be unfair naman daw doon sa mga nag-consolidate, mga nag-comply dito sa PUV modernization. Your thoughts on that?
Yep, that's why what we've been suggesting to DOTR is to actually conduct or implement PUVMP in pilot areas. So there are areas that are already ready in terms of consolidation, in terms of the number of supply of potential jeepneys. And so you should run pilots in those areas. And meanwhile, for those areas that are not yet ready, then they should wait up until the pilot is completed. We have to keep in mind that the PUVMP has never been implemented as this far before. And so there definitely will be learning points. No? That's why it's very important for us to run pilots so that we can improve the program further. And there are areas that could be considered ready for implementation. And we should prioritize those areas to implement PUVMP and then make sure that the lessons learned or the best practices seen in those areas is then applied to improve PUVMP as a program before it's rolled out. We also need to remember that it's not as simple as one size fits all.
That's right.
Each local government, each district has a different requirement. So the government needs to take that into consideration. Now, the way that the PUVMP kasi is designed is that naka-design siya as one size fits all. And that will never be the case.
Yes, Ira, we keep on talking about yung consolidated, unconsolidated drivers, also on the government side. But ang hindi na pag-uusapan masyado, napapansin ko yung commuters natin. How heavily affected are they after the April 30 deadline commenced?
As we can see in the streets, they continue to suffer not being able to find a ride home, a ride going to work. Before the pandemic and before all of these, kita-kita na natin na kulang na yung supply ng jeepneys. So that was back in 2018. If you remember, people were climbing through windows just to be able to catch a ride at buses. So that's the baseline. Since then, nagkaroon ng pandemic, hindi na reactivate lahat ng routes. Tapos ngayon, nagkaroon pa ng consolidation deadline kung saan hindi lahat ng jeepney drivers ay nakapag-consolidate at nakapag-register. So kitang-kita natin just by looking at that progression na quite obviously kulang yung supply ngayon, lalo pa na nagkakaroon pa ng mga strikes. No? So yan yung gusto rin naming malaman kasi in a statement issued by Secretary Bautista, according to him, according to LTFRB, sapat yung supply ng public utility vehicles. Pero kitang-kita naman natin sa kalsada na, in actuality, parang iba yung nangyayari. So we'd also like to ask the government to share with the public their basis for saying that.
In relation to that, then should the government have inuna muna sana ang pag-rationalize ng mga routes or streamline ng mga routes before they disenfranchise or before tinanggalan nila ng prangkisa ang mga ibang jeeps para at least from there, pag naka-streamline na yung routes, makikita mo ano yung route A, route B, route C, ano ba yung masyadong madami, ano yung kulang.
Yep, right on the money. Yan yung sinasabi namin doon pa na ang dapat correct order ng implementation ay matapos mo na yung tinatawag na LPTRP. No? These are the local public transport route plans that are developed by the local government units. And once all of these LPTRPs are put together, then we are able to create what they call a route rationalization or maaayos ngayon yung mga routes na that GT drivers is supposed to consolidate on. Ang mangyayari kasi ngayon, dahil iduna nila yung consolidation, kapag natapos yung route rationalization, merong possibility na magkaroon ng reconsolidation kasi baka either nawala yung mga ruta na pinag-consolidate nila ngayon or nahati yung ruta. So you're right, and we completely agree with that observation na dapat nauna muna yung LPTRP at route rationalization. However, in a statement issued by the DOTR, they deliberately reversed the process. Inuna muna nila yung consolidation at saka na yung route rationalization LPTRP. To this day, we are still asking DOTR road sector to give us a final deadline kung kailan matatapos itong LPTRP at kailan matatapos yung route rationalization. Kasi even for Metro Manila, wala pa tayong nakikitang LPTRP. And the LPTRP for Metro Manila is under the responsibility of DOTR, being a MUSEP zone.
And even yung paghuhuli din, Ira, di ba? Even paghuhuli ng colorum supposedly ngayon, until na wala pang naibababa na memorandum even sa MMDA on how are they going to do that?
Oo, pero kasi, to be honest, if you're looking at the welfare of commuters, ang hirap naman bawasan palalo yung
Exactly.
yung supply, I mean, we're not condoning colorums, but you see, if you look at behavior of people, there is a reason why there are colorum jeepneys because there is a supply that needs to be met. Kung kaya't merong mga colorum, So, yun dapat yun dapat yung nire-recognize ng gobyerno na merong problema sa programa, no. Let's invite the government to step out of their desks. Take their noses off their paperworks and step into the streets and really try to understand what's happening on the ground so that they can appreciate that what's happening behind their desks. It's not exactly connected, or it's not connected to what's really happening in the streets.
Pero kayo mismo in Alt Mobility, Ira, what do you guys do in order to help in this situation, both for the yung concern ng mga jeepney drivers natin and of course ang ating mga commuters?
Well, first of all, we have regular communication. We have our communication lines to the Department of Transportation. We regularly meet with Undersecretary Ortega of the road sector to share with him our recommendations, our inputs on the program. But again, I guess at the end of the day, it really depends on the government if they will heed our advice as transport practitioners and as people that have an idea, more of a working idea of what it really is like on the streets.
Oh, kasi kayo yung on the ground, di ba? All right.
All of us are on the ground. Even if you're riding a car, you should look out the window every once in a while, and you'd see, what ordinary commuters are going through, especially during rush hours.
Exactly. Hindi naman pwede tayo salita ng salita, hindi natin alam yung nararamdaman nila. But on that note, maraming salamat po sa inyo, Ira Cruz, ang Director ng Alt Mobility PH. Thank you so much.
Thank you also for having me.
Yes. Mahabang usapin yan kasi kumbaga parang di ba yung sinabi nga rin ni Ira sa atin, kumbaga kung titignan mo siya parang mas mababaw na or broader perspective, parang nagpantalon muna bago nag-underwear, parang gano'n, no? Kasi hindi mo na inayos yung rationalization. But,
hindi pinag-isipan.
Hindi na pag-isipan. But yun ang ating topic for today. Ano ba yung susunod?
All right, we're now down to our top 8. A passenger filed a complaint with the LTFRB over a body-shaming incident. Nako. Joy Gutierrez said she was asked to disembark a jeepney for being overweight. The LTFRB said to issue a show-cause order to the jeepney's operator to ask for an explanation. The penalty for refusing a passenger ranges from 5 to 15,000 pesos. A jeepney's franchise may also be revoked.
General rule, bawal pong tumanggi sa pasahero. Ang prangkisa, pribilehiyo yan parang driver's license. At kaakibat po ng kanilang responsibilidad ay ang pagbibigay ng safety, comfort sa mga pasahero natin.
We don't condone that. Pero, for example, yung sa like an airline, di ba, pag overweight ka, you cannot reject a passenger. But, you have to offer them an alternative way to seat properly na hindi maka-apekto sa ibang pasahero. Kasi usually ang ginagawa dyan, if masyadong malaki na yung pasahero, they give, sa airline they give you an additional seat na babayaran mo, so you pay for 2 seats. Diba? In this case, kung kasya naman ang pasahero na sinasabing overweight, wag paalisin. Pero kung maliit ang jeep at hindi siya kasya, for safety purposes, baka sana i-assist na lang siya to find a bigger jeepney instead of paalisin mo.
Body shame siya. Kasi actually,
wag naman i-body shame.
Oo, kasi napanood ko yung in-interview yung mismong pasahero na supposedly na body shame nga nitong jeepney driver na sinasabi na, nung una akala daw niya nagbibiro lang sa kanya. Yung pala, seryoso na. Tapos sinabi din daw nung parang kasama din ng jeepney driver, yung kanyang asawa, yung partner, at sinabi nga daw na, kasi kapapalit lang ng gulong, baka ma-flat.
Ay, wag
so
naman
parang, talagang in essence, body shaming yung ginagawa
Yeah,
sa
wag
kanya.
ganon.
Sinabi daw nung mga pasahero doon sa loob na, ay kuya, wag po kayong ganyan kasi ano po yan, pwede kayo sampahan ng anti-discrimination na complaint, 'di ba?
Wag naman
Tapos
ganon.
yun yung sinabi. Tapos apparently, habang nagpa-interview nga itong si ate, yung pasahero na nagreklamo na pinapaalis ng jeepney driver, marami na rin atang mga naglutangan ng mga complaints din against this driver na apparently ganun yung ginagawa niya.
Ugali
Oo,
niya.
ugali niya.
Oo.
So, hindi naman tama yun, di ba? Parang, dahil ba, sabi mo, hindi ka pwede dito dahil mabigat ka or mapa-flat yung gulong namin, kapapalit lang
We don't
namin.
condone, syempre,
Huwag
body shaming in its
ganun.
shape and form. Pero if you need to, kasi kunyari, yung jeepney mo hindi talaga kaya kasi luma or maliit, you say it in a nice way. Kasi hindi mo talaga kakayanin ng kotse, di ba? Pero you don't insult somebody
Grabe,
also.
oo.
We have to take a look at this jeepney driver sa explanation. Kasi baka naman yung upbringing niya, may certain people na hindi umabot na high school, hindi naturuan masyado ng etiquette, di ba? Hindi niya alam. Let's see, but...
Kawawa naman, di ba? Parang napahiya yung babae.
Basta
Ni-interview yun, tsaka pag makita mo siya, I mean, in
It's
all
wrong
fairness,
naman.
hindi naman din siya malaki na makaka-flat ng gulong ng isang
No, the way it was said is wrong talaga.
Oo,
But if, I'm just saying lang, if kunyari may mga jeep kasi na maliliit.
Pero hindi, napanood ko yung
No, I'm
interview
not saying
ng
tama.
babae.
I condone it and I don't
Posibleng
condone.
sabihin niya nun na ewan ko lang.
No, you should understand me. I don't
I
condone it.
know.
I'm just saying lang, if and when it happens, sabihin lang ng driver properly. Huwag mo yung sasabihin, mapa-flat ako kung nandito ka. Kaya nga
I don't think na makaka-flat siya ng gulong yung babae.
definitely not. Sana there's a better way of treating people and talking
Yes, exactly.
to people. Oo.
Diba? Remember yung case ng hotel. Diamond
Ay,
Hotel ba
mali
yun?
yun.
Diba?
That's
Sabi,
totally-
gasol daw.
That's totally wrong.
Diba?
Oo.
Mukhang gasol daw yung katawan, diba? So, hindi maganda yun. Hindi maganda. Okay, sige. Coming up. Senate President Cheese Escudero suspends the construction of a new Senate building on what reason?
And the police and Pastor Apollo Quiboloy supporters got into a heated exchange yesterday in Davao City. Now, did the authorities locate the fugitive religious leaders' whereabouts? Nako, finding
Marami
pastor.
Parang finding Nemo. Marami tayong pwedeng pag-usapan tungkol dyan. But we are just getting started. More of our top 10 news when Brunch returns. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching Brunch here on One News. Happy
Tuesday.
rainy Tuesday
Ay, hindi na.
morning. Di ba ba?
Ay, hindi
Kaya
na.
papunta ako
Tapos
dito,
na.
medyo ano na.
Kanina
Nagkaroon na pala
ang
ng
dilim.
araw.
Kanina ang dilim. Kaya
Oo.
ingat-ingat. Pero some parts of Metro Manila, I guess, naglabas na si Haring Araw. Well, good morning pala kay, kay Alex Fuentes. Maraming salamat sa mga sticker na pinapadala mo sa chat. Saka si Gary Field. Happy Tuesday daw, sabi ni Gary Field. Si Sam Pokemon Go, si Vlad. Good morning, Mother Earth. Thank you for joining us. Oo.
Tayo kasi ngayon ang ating almusal, ang ating brunch ay cinnamon roll at saka ano to?
Oy,
Macaroons ba
mukhang
to?
macaroons yan.
Oo.
Yes.
Ang ating mga televiewers kaya,
Coffee.
ano kaya ang kanilang brunch for today habang nakikinig sa atin?
Always
diba?
drink your cup of coffee.
Oo. Sige. Sabihin niyo po yan sa amin sa ating Facebook page or YouTube channel. Pero for the meantime,
Wait lang, sino may bacon? Padala nyo dito, ha?
ay ganun. Gusto mo ng bacon? Pero sige, let's continue with our countdown. Going straight to our 7th spot, the Migrant Workers Department suspends the deployment of OFWs to Haiti. Now, this comes amid unstable security situation due to worsening gang violence. The DMW says the suspension also covers returning OFWs. According to the United Nations, around 360,000 people in the Caribbean nation have been displaced.
I saw some reports sa isang international news agency. It's apparently nag-stem daw yung gang war from territorial arguments about kanino yung how they ply their trade. Kasi may mga illegal gun trade, may illegal drug trade sila. So nung doon nagsimula yung away. Tapos maya-maya the other gang claims na yung isang leader ng isang gang namatay daw, tapos kasalanan ng isang gang, ayan na.
Nakakatakot mo.
Tapos naglabasan na sila lahat, tapos nagiging a matter of ethnicity na, matter of descent mo, are you French Caribbean, are you German Caribbean?
Parang palalim na ng palalim yung away nila.
Multi-issue gang war na ang nangyayari.
Pero ang hirap dyan kasi to be caught in between the gang violence. Which is yung mga OFWs natin doon.
And yung mga sundalo doon, yung mga officials, nahihirapan kasi sa dami ng mga gangs. And apparently, ang accusation daw, some of the members of these gangs who have moved on sa better lives most of them are in the police force. So syempre, they're very apprehensive of trying to suwayin yung mga ibang gang members kasi dati nilang kabaro daw. So, pero at least the UN is trying to see how they can expedite peace sa area na yan.
Kasi I remember,
at least for the meantime.
I remember, di ba, binalita din natin to mga few months ago.
Kainit.
Hindi pa rin siya natatapos, escalating pa.
Sabagay, historical naman sa area na yan.
Sa Haiti.
But not as grabe as this, Sa Haiti, madaming violence na nangyayari dyan. Oo.
Kawawa yung mga nasa gitna ng mga ganitong kaguluhan. Siyempre, yung mga bata, di ba, yung mga hindi naman involved dito sa violence na ito, yan ang mga kawawa sa
Minsan,
sitwasyon.
mga people pa who belong to one territory, inuugnay na ng kalaban na gang, nakakampi ng gang na yun. So, they're very hostile towards them.
Nakakatakot,
Madadami talaga sila.
Alright, sige, let's continue with our countdown.
Ito, nagbabalik. Coming in hot. At ano ba to? Fifth spot
na natin yan.
Ang pagbabalik ng expelled lawmaker na si Arnie Teves. Now, the alleged mastermind behind the assassination of the late Governor Roel Degamo was re-arrested. You heard it right. He was re-arrested after he was released from detention in Timor-Leste. Teves' lawyer Ferdinand Topacio said his client was released because the Philippine government's request for extradition was declared illegal. However, the Justice Department clarified that Teves was taken back to Becora Prison in Dili to continue to stand trial for extradition. Teves was arrested in March in Timor-Leste based on a red notice issued by the Interpol. Nagiging truly interesting tong kwento.
Nagbabalik si Teves sa countdown natin. Medyo, actually, today na to ay araw ng mga pagbabalik.
Hindi,
Diba?
pero-
Kasi meron tayong Teves, and then of course, for sure, ito ang
Hindi, pero
Quiboloy.
interesting kasi itong kay Teves is because pinakawalan, tapos kinulong ulit.
Oo. Ang sinasabi ng DOJ yesterday,
Re-arrested.
re-arrested, parang it's their part of procedure. Parang per case of it.
Hindi, kasi if you're looking
you
at-
are freed from this case, pero ewan ko. Basta yun ang intindi ko eh.
O, kasi if updated na yung picture ng isa, di ba?
Oo.
Parang happy siya na nakawala siya. Tapos, okay, balik ka. Oh. Pakawalan kita ng 3 minutes, balik ka ulit.
Oo, patikim lamang yun, di ba, ng freedom. Pero balik ka, di ba?
Ay, nako. So,
Pero
he's
syempre, ang
standing,
inaantay dito, yung makuha siya, maibalik
yeah,
siya
he's
dito.
standing trial now for possible extradition.
Yes.
Kung wala talaga kasi tayong direct extradition rules or guidelines with Timor-Leste. Pero si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos, di ba, he met with, I think he met with
Timor leader,
the Timor-Leste president. And they were talking about this, tapos pero hindi na binanggit ko ano yung deal nila or if any deal whatsoever was made to extradite him.
Exactly. May tinitignan kasi ako dito yung, kasi wala nga tayong extradition, pero meron parang silang sinasabi.
No, we don't
di ko
have a direct
wala
extradition. But
meron tayong both signatory sa UN and
which by
Timor-Leste.
request ang pwedeng mong...
Yes.
If there's a fugitive at law, by request. Pero kasi pag may extradition treaty ka, usually when you detain somebody sa nation na may extradition treaty ka with, automatic yon na you have to extradite and coordinate with the governing agency sa kabilang country na kausap mo.
Right.
In this point, since wala naman tayong direct link, the judge will have to decide on that sa Timor-Leste.
Oo. In context lang, di ba, patong-patong kasi nga itong kasong
Yeah, he
pinakaharap
is-
ni, former Congressman Teves, di ba? Number
So,
one dyan yung isa siya sa tinuturong mastermind, allegedly, sa pagpatay kay
And he is tagged
Governor
as
Degamo.
a terrorist, so therefore, yung extradition request should be easier. Kasi terrorist siya. Yun ang tagging ng government natin.
Okay, sige, let's continue with our countdown. From Teves to digital ID, di ba? The government launches the digital national ID amid delivery backlog. The digital national ID is the official digital version of the national ID. It can be accessed via nationalid.gov.ph or on the eGov.ph app. Over 87 million people have registered for national ID, but only around 51 million have received their physical IDs.
May limit ang ating printing, no, because there are steps also from the time na matanggap yung data and the printing. So the maximum number of cards that can be printed on a given day is 80,000 cards, no, and depending on conditions, minsan mababa ito.
Yung mga tao nalilito na, meron kang digital ID. Kumusta ka na, JR? Anyway, may digital ID ka, meron kang printed copy na ilalaminate mo, and may physical copy. Now, the printed copy na ilalaminate, kinukuha mo yon in absence pa or while waiting for the physical
For the
card.
physical
Ngayon, ang tanong ng mga tao, ito ang tanong ng tao, if you have the physical ID also, already, can you still avail of the digital ID?
Oo, yun
Kasi may mga certain transactions daw. Kasi may QR to online. May certain transactions na online na at least automatic may ma-upload mo na if you have the digital version. Kaya a lot of people are saying, or is this habang wala pa yung digital, habang wala pa yung physical, you can get this?
Yes.
Or in absence ba? Or simultaneous, di ba?
Oo, yan yung mga tanong nila. Pero in essence nga, kasi nga, ginagawa nila to dahil ang dami, talagang series of backlog. Diba? Ikaw, pero tayo parang madali.
Hindi,
ako 1 year and 6 months, if I'm not mistaken, nakuha ko upon
Ako, December,
application.
I don't remember what year, no? But December, we filed sa isang mall for my national ID. I got my 4th week of January the next year.
Mas
So 1
madali
month lang,
yung
mabilis.
sa'yo eh. Ako
I got
may
the
1
paper
year.
printout and then siguro in total when I got my national ID, yung physical card na mismo, it's about 6 months, 5
Swerte mo.
months.
Kasi may iba, kahit senior nga, ang tagal nakakuha.
Oo, hindi kasi
Pero
daw-
may iba na mabilis tulad mo.
Ang style kasi daw dyan, mag-apply ka sa mall na very little ang tao in traffic. So therefore, nakasegregate yan according to area eh. So kung
Kaya mabilis na pa-process.
Oo, kasi ang process mo...
Bakit ikaw?
Hindi,
pares naman tayo ng
a month ahead ako eh. So by the time
Pero
siguro...
kung 1 year...
Hindi, by the time na nag-apply ka, from the time na nag-apply ako, nag-ipon na yung mga tao sa backlog. Kaya naipon na ano ka sa likod.
Tsaka dapat ang tignan din nila yan kasi may mga establishments na hindi tumatanggap or di ba may mga bangko na ni-report before na hindi tumatanggap
Oy, bawal
ng
yun.
national ID.
You have to accept the national ID.
Okay, kasi it defeats the purpose of having national ID
you're right.
here in our country.
There are certain banks na will take the national ID as a secondary ID lang. Pero kailangan mo ng supporting ID. Bawal po yan. Kasi ang national ID should be considered an important and supreme ID just like the license, just like the passport.
Opo. Pero tama, I agree. I agree naman sa sinabi mo. So, dapat ang check.
Pinapatunayan ko lang sa'yo may energy ka kasi naakusan mo ako walang energy.
Wala akong energy.
May energy ako.
Sino may mas energy sa amin? Text nyo. Ay, message
Alam mo, the mere fact na pag nagsasalita ka na at hindi na ako sumisingit means I'm deferring to you and allowing you to speak your mind rather than singitan kita.
Oh, dapat naman talaga.
That doesn't mean wala kang energy. It's being respectful
Ganun.
to your ideas.
Okay. Sige,
Iba naman ang... Maging respectful ako, walang energy. Pag nakikipagtalakayan ako, hindi ako respectful.
Grabe, wala naman ako
Kawawa
sinabing
naman.
ganon.
This coming Father's Day, kawawa naman ang mga kalalaki.
Grabe siya, ang daming issue. Dahil lang sa national ID.
Nakakapikon kasi, 1 year.
Di ba?
Si MJ Marfori, remember, it took her a year,
Ilan?
almost more than a
Ako
year
di ba
to
1
get her
year
physical
and,
ID.
6 months. So,
Next na daw, sabi ni Direk, kasi nag-aaway daw tayo.
ayaw.
Alright, next. Heating up on our fourth spot, Senate President Cheese Escudero suspends the construction of a new Senate building. Now, here's the report.
Senate President Cheese Escudero has suspended the construction of the new Senate building in Taguig. This comes after he found out it was going to cost nearly 3 times more than initially projected. The said building was initially bidded out for 8.9 billion, but now the budget has already climbed to 13 billion pesos. And Escudero says it will take another 10 billion to finish it.
Hindi questionable, nauuhiyan lang ako. Nakakagulat at masama sa panlasa, nagagastos ng ganito kalaki ang Senado para sa aming magiging bagong tahanan at opisina.
Escudero says he asked Senator Alan Peter Cayetano to suspend payments until the review is completed. Cayetano is the head of the Senate Committee on Accounts. Escudero added that employees likely won't be able to move in even next year, let alone this September as was the original plan.
Hindi totoo na makakalipat tayo sa bagong gusali, lupa at building ng Setyembre. Hindi rin totoo na aabot tayong makalipat bago matapos ang taon. Kahit hanggang 2025, sa palagay ko'y hindi pa rin. Dahil marami pang bagay na kailangan ihanda.
Senator Ping Lacson favors the review, but he said that the budget increase appears normal due to higher land value. Senator Nancy Binay meanwhile says Escudero was aware the building's cost as early as 2019. For News 5, Camille Samonte, we are One News.
Now let's get some updates on the ground.
We have with us mobile journalist Evan Tarinque reporting live from Taguig. Evan,
Diego.
Yes, good morning, Evan. Of course, yung construction works ba dyan, tumigil na?
Diego, Angela, good morning. Kanina sinilip natin ito, natin natin yung bagong Senate building, no? Pero kanina nung pinasok natin sa loob, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung construction dito na ginagawa mismo sa may Senate building. Kung totoosin, kung pwede ko maipakita sa inyo, marami talaga, no? May mga naka-hard hats na umiikot pa rin at tuloy-tuloy yung construction dito sa loob.
Okay.
Diego, Angela?
Oo, nakausap mo ba yung mga... so, ibig mong sabihin, sabi mo meron pa rin gumagawa dyan. Tuloy pa rin.
Oo.
Kasi syempre, sabi nga ni Senator Cheese Escudero, Senate President Cheese Escudero, stop muna until ma-check nila, 'di ba, yung mga detalye dito. Pero nakausap mo ba yung mga trabahador dyan ngayon? Go ahead, Evan.
Yes, Angela, sinubukan natin kausapin yung isa sa nagbabantay dito sa may Senate building na ito. Sabi niya, may tuloy-tuloy pa rin naman daw yung construction. Hindi nga lang tayo binigyan kung kailan man itigil yung construction na ito. Actually, kung pwede ko kayong itawid dito
Sige
sa kabilang
dahan-dahan ka, baka masagasaan
no?
ka. Oh.
Para mapakita ko lang naman yung itsura pa sa loob. Ito. Kung babalik ka rin natin yung camera, Okay. So, okay. So kung babalik na rin natin yung camera, ito may kita pa rin natin, may harang pa rin, may blue na yero pa rin na nakaharang dito sa labas. Pero may kita natin, ayan, may mga bus pa, ayun, may kita nyo mayroong crane pa na may lamang tao. Ayan, so may kita talaga natin na tuloy-tuloy pa rin talaga yung construction works dito. No?
Wala ka ba makakausap dyan? Hindi ka pwedeng pumasok, no?
At sinubukan ko, Angela, kanina, pero unfortunately, pinaalis tayo. No?
Yes.
Hindi tayo pinayagan.
Evan,
Pero, yes, Diego.
I'd like to ask, no, yung ano ba yung official standing order ni SP Cheese Escudero? Is it stop construction or stop payment? So it follows na pag naubos yung current pondo na meron sa construction firm, tsaka sila titigil?
So far, hindi klaro kung ang pagkakaintindi, ang meron tayo, sinabi na stop construction hanggang nire-review pa nila yung etong kontrata dito, no? So, ito, subukan natin tumawid. So,
ingat ka.
Natin, ito. So, ayan, makikita natin, may gate. So, tuloy-tuloy yung construction dito, no? Ayan.
Ayun.
So, ito yung entrance ng Senate office, no? Ayan. So, pwedeng dumaan yung sasakyan, pero so far, kung makikita natin yung sahig, rough road pa rin, no? So, medyo maputik to pag umulan. Pero ayan, may kita natin.
Yes, Evan, I'd like to ask,
dito.
I'd like to ask, Evan, kung nakita mo yung construction prior to the order of SP Cheese, kasi baka naman daw, baka ang possibility nito is they're securing the area lang before they shut it down temporarily.
So far, walang official na statement tungkol dito, no? Pero nakita natin, nagkakabit sila ng mga gates, no? Kanina pa, actually kanina umaga pa nila to ginagawa. Pero ayan, nakita natin si Kuya, parang binabarricade nila itong lugar na ito. So, try natin, subukan natin.
Try mo nga kausapin.
Excuse me, Kuya.
Tanungin
Kuya?
mo.
Sir, excuse me lang, tanong ko lang. Ano to, isasara na ba to or titigil muna yung construction?
Meron bang order?
Pinapagawan lang ng gate. So, wala namang dumating sa inyo na tinasabing titigil na muna yung construction dito? Wala pa. Wala pa.
So
yun,
no standing order to make to stop the construction. So malamang, Evan, possibility ba na that's why they're reinforcing gates in preparation for possible temporary closure?
Possible yan, Diego, pero so far wala pa talagang official na statement. Ang utos lang talaga sa kanila lagyan ng gate itong entrance mismo nitong bagong Senate building dito.
So,
Diego?
madalit sabi, status ko sila dyan, di ba? Kasi kung sabi nung worker dyan, according sa kanya, walang utos from up, di ba, na magtigil ng construction. Pero I was wondering, Evan, kung ang LGU ba, nakausap mo rin regarding this? LGU ng Taguig?
So far, wala pa tayong nakakausap wala pa tayong nakokontakt na LGU, hindi pa sila sumasagot. Pero as of now, we're looking at yung ground zero dito, kung ano na nangyayari, kung meron bang talagang tinigil yung construction dito. Pero so far nga, nakikita natin, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung construction dito hanggang sa ngayon. Angela?
Okay, sige. Alright, maraming salamat sa iyo sa ating mobile journalist, Evan Tarinque. So we just wanted to know kasi kung ano ba nangyayari. Oo, kasi nga yesterday, pumutok yung balita, sinabi ni Senator Cheese Escudero, Senate President Cheese Escudero, na papatigil niya muna yung construction. Although nilinaw niya, wala naman daw pa siya so far nakikitang anomalya. It's just parang na-OOA yan lang daw siya. Feeling niya excessive yung amount nagagastusin sa pagpapatayo ng building sa ng Senate sa BGC.
Yung expenses versus yung budget lumaki. Pero then, nung sinilip rin ni former Senator Panfilo Lacson, mukhang in order naman. It's just that, siyempre, from the time the budget was approved, that was years ago, yung land value,
8.3 billion.
Umabot ng 20 plus billion. Siyempre, nag-appreciate yung land value. Therefore, yung mga material cost nag-appreciate yan. Kasi long-term long-term construction, plus may mga provisions naman daw sa contract for percentage increase. It's just that siguro na concern lang si SB Cheese because yung jump from 8 billion all the way to 20 plus
23.
billion.
Oo,
Yun lang.
23 billion.
Pero mukhang in order. Sabi daw ni Senator Nancy Binay na mukhang matagal naman daw alam ni Senator Chief.
Oo, alam niya.
Oo.
Pero yun nga, kanina kasi nakausap natin sa kabilang programa si former Senate President, si Tito Soto, no, regarding this. And he himself said na kinausap sila ni Senate President Chis Escudero, siya at saka si Lacson, kinonsulta siya tungkol dito. Dahil nga, alam naman nga daw na may ganitong papagawa at sinabi nga ni former Senator or Senate President Tito Soto na nagko-compute sila noon eh, 'di ba? Parang apparently 127 million yearly yung nagagastos ng Senate
Yes,
sa
correct.
sa renta ng building nila sa GSIS.
Oo.
As compared dun dito sa paglipat nga nila dito sa new building supposedly sa Taguig. So, sabi niya, maigi na i-check na lang muna kasi apparently, ang sinabi din ni Senator Lacson, yung 10.03 billion na hinihingi ng DPWH, DPWH kasi ang ano niyan mag-execute nitong project na to, 'di ba? Hindi pa rin naman daw binibigay at that time ni Senator Nancy Binay, which is siya kasi yung dating chairman ng accounting sa Senate. So hindi pa naman daw nailabas 'yun kasi nga may mga objections pa regarding sa pagtaas. Dahil ang sinabi ni Senator Tito Soto, binili daw nila yung lupa sa Taguig at that time, no, 2019, at around 90,000 per square per meter. 90,000 square per meter.
No, per square meter.
Oh, per square meter, sorry. Tapos, pero ngayon kasi, dyan daw ngayon, kung titignan mo sa Taguig, nagiging 500,000 na square meters, yung, per square meter yung bilihan ng ano dyan. Yung sa lupa doon, sa Taguig.
De, pero more than anything kasi nakaset naman yung price ng lupa. So hindi naman mag-iiba yan sa construction cost because construction materials naman yan eh. Yung lupa, pag purchased mo na yan or naka-lease na yan, nakaset na yung price niyan sa term agreement. So ang ano lang is yung presyo lang ng materials ang i-check ni Senator Chis Escudero.
So ang mag-check niyan, of course, yung bagong committee chair ngayon ng accounting, si Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. Okay. Sige. Let's move forward to our next discussion. Mainit-init pa rin. Still hot at the third spot is the Pogo in Porac, Pampanga. The town's mayor denied allegations linking him to Pogo operations in his area. Now, Mayor Jing Kapil denied rumors that he owns 10 hectares of land where a Pogo hub was operating. He also insisted that his local government had no idea what was happening inside the hub. Kapil added that the Pogo hub had no mayor's permit because it was included in the Bureau of Fire Protection's negative list. He said the Porac LGU previously attempted to inspect the area last month.
Ala na kaman authority po na pero inyo. Ding PAO PF kailangan din pa po in search warrant. Baka ta makalog ka rin. Ikatamo, dinidya mo po in power tamo.
Now, authorities has also discovered alleged uniforms of People's Liberation Army or PLA inside the raided Pogo hub in Porac, Pampanga. The PLA is the armed organization of the Chinese Communist Party. The Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission is investigating the possibility of Chinese military personnel posing as Pogo employees. Or pwede rin vice versa. Diba?
Dapat
Kunyari,
may closure.
posing lang siya PLA.
Dapat
Tingnan niyo
may
muna yung
closure order na yan. Wala pa lang mayor's permit eh.
check nila yung authenticity ng uniform. But yes, tama ka doon. Check nila yung closure. Attempted, ano sabi niya? Attempted to check, di ba?
Walang
Raid
warrant. Walang warrant kasi.
last month. Di ba?
May mga warrants needed to fulfill that raid kasi. Pero dapat may closure order ko. Wala namang permit eh.
Oo, walang permit,
yung
pero bakit, diba? Ewan ko sa kanila. Pero yun nga, dahil until now, ongoing, as we speak, last updated yesterday, ongoing pa rin yung raid dyan sa Pogo. Dahil there are about 46 buildings eh. Diba? E nung nakausap natin si PAOK spokesperson Winston Casio, sabi niya at that time, 15. Diba yung mga na-raid nila, chinecheck nila. But I'm sure nadagdagan na yun no, doon sa mga chine-check nila doon. Then marami pang mga gusali doon. And hopefully daw, sabi nga niya, ay tuloy pa rin yung search and rescue nila. No? Wala naman sila sanang makita pang mga kumbaga patay na katawan doon sa sa building because there were torture chambers, di ba?
Yes,
Nasabi nila
correct.
may mga weapons like baseball bat na may mga dugo, di ba?
Madaming evidence that points to a lot of people na possibly nasaktan o namatay doon. So, daming dugo, daming sinasabi mo nga. And then mga rooms with handcuffs, iba-ibang torture gadgets. But madami pa tayo pag-uusapan, so don't go away because we're not done yet.
May dalawa pa!
Dalawa pa tayo. Welcome back. You're still watching Brunch here on One News. Good morning to everyone.
Yes.
All right. Since madami pa tayong pag-usapan, let's get right to it. Coming in at the second spot, Philippine and U.S. Army soldiers concluded their Salaknib exercises yesterday. The drills were conducted in central Luzon from June 1 to 10. They used the Joint Pacific Multinational Readiness Center or JPMRC for the first time.
Ang bago lang dito sa JPRMC is a more realistic training environment. We simulated yung actual operation. This is far different from yung nakikita natin sa balikatan. Ito talaga yung forces gumagalaw na magkasabay at merong common target.
Unlike other military trainings, this one featured modern systems and technology. The U.S. Army, for their part, says the JPMRC was useful for them to get used to Philippine terrain.
The training has been absolutely world-class. The ability to work alongside your division staff and soldiers has made us all better warfighters. It's increased our lethality. It's developed cohesive teams between our two armies.
All right, ano ba ang ating number one for today? Ito, nagbabalik.
Woo! Welcome back!
Coming back to our top spot is Pastor Apollo Quiboloy. Tensions aroused during the serving of arrest warrants against Quiboloy in Davao City yesterday because of the fugitive religious leader's aggressive supporters. Here's the report.
The Davao City Police were tasked to serve another arrest warrant against Kingdom of Jesus Christ leader Pastor Apollo Quiboloy yesterday. This is for his child abuse, sexual abuse, and human trafficking cases in Davao City and Pasig courts. The police were met by staunch Quiboloy supporters who gathered in front of the KOJC compound. Tension eventually sparked between the two camps. One of the KOJC members sustained injury during the conflict.
Natamakan ko combat shoes po gikan sa taas sa fire truck po ng SAF po. Kasi po, wala na pong ladder noon. So, wala na po siyang ibang matungtungan. Siguro ako na lang din po yung natungtungan niya. So, ito, kaya po ganito po yung nangyari.
Some KOJC members were arrested for bringing sharp objects like bolo. Despite the strong aggressive force of Quiboloy supporters, authorities still entered the KOJC compound to look for the fugitive. They also barged into the properties of Quiboloy like the Prayer Mountain and the Glory Mountain. The police also looked for Quiboloy in the KOJC compound in Malungon, Sarangani. Unfortunately for them, they failed to locate the controversial self-anointed son of God. Quiboloy's legal camp condemned the police's actions and called it illegal.
Hindi po pwede na arrest warrant lang ang dala mo, napapasok ka sa isang gated na facility at pilit mo itong sirain para lang makapasok ka. Bawal po ito, illegal po ito.
In response, the Philippine National Police said,
yung nangyari kanina ay service of warrant of arrest against Pastor Quiboloy and 5 others. So, hindi po yun search warrant or raid.
Aside from these arrest warrants, Quiboloy is also facing an arrest order from the Senate for refusing to attend their hearings about his abuse allegations. Senate President Teves Escudero said the hearing will continue even if Quiboloy's whereabouts is still unknown.
Kung titimbangin ang arrest warrant na inisyo ng Korte at subpoena na inisyo ng Senado, malayong mas matimbang ang arrest warrant na inisyo ng Husgado at Korte. So marahil unang may implement yon kung sakasakali. At matapos niyan, doon na lang magre-request kung ma-implement na yung warrant of arrest galing sa Korte.
Alam mo, I remember nasa Bible yan, di ba, na yung submit yourself to the law of the land because the leaders, you may not like them, pero pinili ng Diyos yan, di ba? So, if part of the law of the land is submitting to an arrest warrant, and you claim to be a leader of religious and faithful people, then why don't you set an example and face your detractors, and kung innocent ka, then defend yourself, prove yourself wrong. Diba?
Wag mo ipaharap yung mga supporters.
So, para mo supporter mo, you put them in harm's way and you're causing chaos from both sides.
Actually, sasampahan sila ng kaso ng PNP.
Yeah, obstruction ba?
Oo, kasi di ba nag-water cannon sila, ayaw sila papasukin dun sa area. Although, may question of legality dyan dahil sabi nga nila, arrest warrant lang ang dala-dala ng PNP Special Action Forces when they went to the properties.
Yes, pero how will you enforce an arrest warrant if you don't take the person inside?
Yes, exactly. But then again, ano sabi nila, sa haba-haba man ng ginawa, wala naman din nangyari dahil wala naman doon hindi nila nakita si Pastor Apollo Quiboloy.
Submit yourself, prove them wrong. Kung innocent ka, any other ordinary person na walang access to funds or power or supporters would have submitted themselves long ago to defend
Senate
himself.
Hearing pa lang, nagpakita na siya.
Si Renz Kilario, di ba?
Oo.
Di ba, submitted ka agad. O tuloy, iniwan siya ng...
Yung si Aguila.
Oo, si Renz, di ba? Kilario. Senyor Aguila, wala na daw, hindi na daw siya
Hindi na siya yung nila
lumipat na daw yung Spirit of the Lord to another leader.
Hindi na siya yung anointed one. Pero ito, sana for me, yung sa countdown natin, sana mas magkatabi si Teves saka si Pastor Apollo Quiboloy.
Teves kasi medyong not surprising resolution. Ito kasi medyong may cavalry daw
Pero
dyan.
yung hinahanap mo kahapon po, diba?
Ayun, anyway.
Paramdam sa'yo.
Anyway, thank you for everyone for joining us.
Lagay ko lang si Jovi Francisco.
Jovi,
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, Jovi! Salamat sa Alam mo na yan, Jovi. Happy birthday. Sama tayo. Anyway, I'd like to leave this quote for people who think that taking shortcuts is the way to succeeding in life. Mali po yan. And here's a quote that goes, someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree long ago. A quote from Warren Buffett. And that wraps up today's episode of Brunch.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro. And he is Angelo Castro III. We are One News. Okay na. Go na. All sides, all the time.